Hello and welcome back. In the last hour and a half we've had, well, now over 1,000 calls from all across the country, and it looks as though already there have been some new leads.
Starting in Bristol with the murder of Jackie Waynes, we traced Jackie's last hours in St Paul's, where she worked as a prostitute. Just after midnight, 9 miles from the city, these young men parked in a country lane listening to music. Though they weren't aware of it, Jackie's body was dumped onto the ground just a few yards from where they were. And a couple driving past could well have seen the killer.
A chap ditching rubbish. You ought to take his number and report him to the council.
And it was that white van with a man apparently dumping rubbish outside it that you most wanted to trace. Have you had any news on that?
Yes, we've had a first-class response to that. We've had something in the region of 100 calls now, ranging from people who may have seen the van to suggestions as to who the man might have been that was standing beside it. First class, and we're very pleased.
And there's very distinctive damage on that van, isn't there, to
yes.
remind people?
Perhaps it's something I should have emphasised more. The damage that you can see on the van is in fact on the off side of the vehicle, towards the rear.
And somebody may have repaired that, or somebody may see a white van with that damage.
Yes, that's so.
Now, people may be rather wary of coming forward and talking to the police about this, for obvious reasons.
Yes. I'm particularly now interested in the man in the red Cortina and the man in the escort van. Unfortunately, we've had no calls from them. I can't stress enough that it is important that I do speak to them, and I'm prepared to see them at any time, at any place, in confidence. You see, I'm not really concerned about why they're in St Paul's. It's their help I need, and I will respect their confidence.
Well, let's hope we do get their help. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Hughes.
We've had a little disappointment, but also a tremendous response after our item about thefts from churches. In January this year, a thief broke into Tewkesbury Abbey in Gloucestershire. The Madonna and Child statuette has never been seen since, and it's worth £34,000. I say it's never been seen since, but we are now hopeful maybe it has been. Sergeant Hall, what's been your response?
Well, we've had a very important call this evening, which could lead to the recovery of the statuette from Tewkesbury. I don't wish to say any more about it at this stage, but it is very important. We're taking it very seriously, and it's in confidence, and I'm very hopeful that it will be recovered. Good.
And I gather there are some witnesses, too, to the Tewkesbury
Yes,
robbery.
we've had a great response, which I'm very grateful for, regarding the 2 men that were seen in the Abbey, 2 in particular, which we take very seriously, from a lady in Wolverhampton who saw 2 similar men acting suspiciously on the 14th of May in Winchester Cathedral, and also from a lady who saw 2 men in the Priory Church at Dunstable a couple of weeks ago who answered the same description.
Right, so very, very exciting news on the Tewkesbury one, but disappointment, I gather, on the York robbery.
Yes, but we're still hopeful, and anybody who did see the man dressed in fawn and with the bag, and anybody acting suspiciously, bearing in mind that it was 2.5 foot tall, we would like to hear from them.
Yes, wandering out with a statue 2.5 foot tall and very heavy. Sergeant Hall, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, to see what's happened with the incident desk and with the Crimewatch protocol, here are Superintendent David Hatcher and Constable Helen Phelps. Helen, there was a rapist on campus of York University on the 24th of May and another attack on the 12th of June. Any news on that?
Well, I'm afraid there hasn't been a very good response for information, so we appeal to anyone who recognises this video fit of the attacker. He's about 5'10", well built, receding hairline, and he spoke with a Yorkshire accent.
Right.
And
Yes,
the calls will be treated in confidence.
And there was a robbery of very distinctive pipes from the House of Pipes in Bramber in Sussex.
Yes,
You found
that's...
those?
Well, stolen property has to be disposed of, and we think we found the source of the disposal. DS Roberts, the officer in the case, is making inquiries right now, even at this time of night.
David Hatcher, we had our photo call, and I think you have some news on the one where there was a jobs fraud involved, bogus
Yes.
jobs and bogus trips abroad.
That's right, yes. That's the one where he was asking for money. We've had 7 calls identifying this man, all the same, and we've got officers visiting him about now, so we're ready to have a long chat with that gentleman. The second crime that we've got good news on is the £500,000 robbery from Oldham, where we think we may have recovered this particular van. We've had a call, and we asked the gentleman who rang us about that to call again. He's told us things about the van which we haven't revealed. Again, promising, and a reminder there about the £48,000. Can the thieves afford that kind of honour? Lastly, the Brixton murder of Martin Daly. Tony We've had a lot of confirmatory calls about what we know about him. We've had sightings, additional sightings in Liverpool, Walsall and the Metropolitan Police area. We've had a call from another person that we again want to ring us, a very agitated person who's very close to Tony, told us some more about him. Please ring us again now. Ring and ask for Detective Inspector Albert Patrick. And here's a number, if you can't get through before midnight, it's 733-7101. Absolute confidence, that's an answer phone, and you'll remain entirely anonymous.
And police would very much like to question Tony in connection with that murder. Thank you very much.
Let's now go to that armed robbery at a dairy in St Albans. If you remember, as a Securicor van arrived to collect the takings, one of the gang pretended to be a milkman washing the dairy manager's car.
Get your hands up! I think we're being done! Christ, the phone's dead! Stay there!
Chief Inspector Howley, what's been the response?
The response so far has been very, very good. We've had somewhere near 70 calls from various members of the public, mainly about the video picture.
You haven't got any names, have you?
We have a number of very interesting leads, some of which are names. Obviously, I can't name them at this stage, but we will be following up very, very quickly.
Are you excited about some of the information you've got?
Very, very pleased, yes.
You're going to be taking action tonight?
Tonight and tomorrow.
Right. Well, we ought to remind people they're very violent people. They're prepared to use that as a cosh, and they were prepared, of course, to throw ammonia in people's eyes, and they were prepared to shoot, as we saw. And there's a reward.
Yes, there's a very, very substantial reward on offer for any information leading to the arrest of these men, and I would like to hear from anybody in confidence any information they may have at all. OK,
remember it is a very big award. Finally, these keys. Remember, the anti-terrorist branch need to identify these urgently. We've had over 400 calls so far. They need to know which premises these keys could fit, especially if it's somewhere which would need all three of them. Now, we're having so many calls that the police have asked us to give another number. It's Glasgow 204-2626. The incident room at Glasgow 204-2626. Please ring if you've seen a set of keys like these.
And don't forget, all our lines are open until midnight. The number here is 01811 8055. We'll give you local numbers in a minute, and they're all on CFAX on page 186, if you have that. If you'd like to write to us in confidence, this is the address: Crimewatch UK, BBC Television Centre, London W12 8QT.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for calling if you did. Remember what we say each month. We show exceptions, not the rule. Violent crime is actually much rarer than people think. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.